It's Indiana in the Morning on WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, WCCSradio.com. The Altoona Curve, they've been playing in Erie this week. They're coming home next week, though. Our visit with Jon Mozes of the Curve, presented by Marcus & Mack, voted best law firm and best personal injury lawyer 3 years in a row in the Best of Indiana County contest. Visit them online, marcusandmack.com. We actually got to watch Johnny in action the other day against who were you playing last week? Chesapeake?
The Akron Rubber Ducks.
Oh yeah, you were playing Akron, and you did the games with Alex Presley. Did you have fun?
It's pretty cool. Yeah, Alex told us some great stories about his days as a minor leaguer. We've got a good podcast coming out. We sat down with him for 20 minutes just talking about his journey. You know what it's like watching some of these young guys, and told us his experience of facing Aroldis Chapman. When Chapman first debuted in the Major Leagues in 2005. That was pretty cool. So that episode will come out on the Roundhouse podcast probably later today.
Yeah. Well, when a guy's throwing 112 miles an hour and you're standing there with the bat in your hands, that's not the prettiest feeling in the world. My goodness gracious. You're kind of echoey this morning. Are you on another planet, or where are you?
I'm actually in the hotel gym at our beautiful hotel in Erie, Pennsylvania. We're at Hilton Garden Inn.
Nice. Well, there you go. So the Curve have had a bit of a rough time here this week against the Erie Seawolves. That's a pretty good ball club, huh?
Yeah, they've played well. This is just about timely hitting, right? I mean, the ways that you score runs late in games. I mean, play a 12-inning game on the Education Day, and you only score one run. So, I think that's sort of the element that the Curve have to sort of work at to figure out is, getting that guy home from second with nobody out. How do you do that more effectively and more often? But Erie has pitched very well in this series. Their bullpen was very good after the rain delay on Tuesday. You lose a 2-run game there. You go into 12 innings on Wednesday. And, last night was another one of those games where you sort of fight, but just can't quite hold the line. So, tough way to start the week, but, the sun's out today and feels like a good day for a win.
There you go. Well, let's talk a little bit about Mitch Jebb. He has a 15-game on-base streak. And for that matter, Jack Brannigan's been on base in 14 consecutive games. Those guys are starting to figure some things out at the AA level, huh?
Yeah, no doubt. Jebb has been as advertised, where it's get on base and use his speed to create some havoc. I've been really impressed with the way that he's been able to hit hard line drives to all fields. His approach isn't exactly power-oriented, but it doesn't really matter, because if you get on base, any single or walk for him is going to become a double because he's going to steal second. And that's been really nice. His work in center field has also been very good defensively. I think that's an underrated part of why the Curve have played so well, even though the record is now 14-16. Defense has been really good for Altoona. Jack Brannigan's been good at shortstop. Every guy that they put into the outfield has covered beyond, what you would expect. And, they've turned a lot of, in-between balls into outs because they can do things defensively. I'm loving what Jack Brannigan's doing at the plate. I think he's got a chance to hit 20 home runs this year and steal 20 bases. He is a really talented guy.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because Mitch Jebb came up. We were talking about him as a shortstop, and there he is in center field. Brannigan, they had to choose. Are you going to be a pitcher? Are you going to be an infielder? He decided to be a corner infielder at third base. Now he shows up, and he's at shortstop for the Curve. The Pirates have a way of doing that with players and making them as versatile as they possibly can, huh?
Yeah, versatility is important in this game, right? Because nobody gets to the big leagues and is able to play at just one spot. There's usually a guy there, somebody that's been established previously. Brannigan is a guy that they just started trying at shortstop. He told us this story during his first year when he was playing at Bradenton when he got drafted, that his manager came to him and said, I think you can play short. Let me check with some people and see if we can, give you a couple of days there. And it's just sort of taken off. He's made every play going in both directions. He's got a great arm. And, he's the kind of guy that you can dream on if he's going to play average defense at shortstop and hit 20 home runs. And you're talking about a pretty valuable player.
Yeah, absolutely are. So this week, the Pirates promote Hunter Barco. You are going to look back on this season, and in subsequent seasons, you're going to look back on the Hunter Barco era with the Altoona Curve. As short as it was, it's kind of hard to think that there are going to be very many more that are ever going to be more memorable than that, huh?
Yeah, I mean, just talk about dominance. And, what makes it different is that he's left-handed. He's throwing 95 to 97 miles an hour. He's got the ability he's manipulating his fastball, so he's using it as a sinker, getting more ground balls. And that, I think, is a reason that his pitch count is going to stay down. He was throwing his breaking ball for strikes all the time. And that is such a key at this level, that you have to land your breaking ball for strikes in any count. And he showed he could really do that. Obviously, he pitched against some good teams, pitched against Akron when he was here, even though he had, sort of the advantage of being left-handed, and they were a left-handed lineup. But it's really impressive what he did. I think it's the kind of thing that, a franchise record like that, I have a hard time seeing that falling, right? Like 25 consecutive scoreless innings is really incredible, right? Like you just don't see guys on a run like that anymore. And it's something I'll treasure, having a chance to watch him go about his work up close. And I said this to him on his way out. It's just a pleasure to watch him work. He works quickly, throws a ton of strikes. He's a really thoughtful guy when you get a chance to talk to him, and he's really nice. So, he's the kind of guy you grow to root for.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a part of that is the fact he's more mature than most kids at the AA level, because I think he's 24 years old. And he has a commanding presence on the mound. He makes it known, this is my mound, and that's my plate, and he goes and he grabs it.
Right, like he's 6'4". He's got a little bit. You're right about that intimidation factor. That it's not really a comfortable at bat for guys to see it. He's had some good development points since the Pirates drafted him, where his arm action is a little bit smoother. He's more in tune with the biomechanics, and he is understanding data and what it tells him when he sees certain things on some of those plot charts. He really is a cerebral type guy, and look, 6'4", 240 pounds. You don't really see the ball until it's coming out of his hands, and it's a quick delivery. So it's a pretty uncomfortable at bat for opponents.
Yeah. Hey, John, I want to do this. I have in my hands right now, they were just handed to me, packets of 4 tickets with VIP parking passes to the Altoona Curve. Next week, you'll be back at the PPG Field. Listen to me, PNG Field. And you'll be playing the Harrisburg Senators with the Curve. And I have tickets with VIP parking for Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays games. I'm going to hang around in the studio after we're done talking today. And if the phone rings and somebody gets through and wants to go to one of those games, they just need to let me know, and I'll fix them up with tickets. So just folks, understand that at the end of this segment, when we say goodbye to John, I'm going to stay here in the studio, take calls for a few minutes, and if you call right away, we'll get you on for the game of your choice for those 3 games that we have going. So there you go. That is my way, John, of leading you into what happens next week, the Senators, the Curve in Altoona.
Well, Tuesday, we'll have our specialty Copa uniforms will be Los Peces Dorados. On Tuesday night, the Curve will be the Goldfish. Those really cool uniforms, $1 off, walking tacos on Tuesday night. If you get tickets to the Wednesday game, it's going to be busy. It's an education day, so there's going to be a lot of kids around the ballpark. But you know what? You're going to have your VIP parking pass. You're going to have your own seats downstairs. And you should just play hooky from work. Jump out for the day. It's an 11 a.m. game.
That's going to be fun.
Thursday, yeah, that's going to be really fun when there's so many kids in the ballpark. The last I saw, our pre-sale was over 6,000. So it's going to be very busy and fun. And then Thursday, we're going to be the Altoona Rail Kings again. This is the old independent team that played in Altoona before the Curve came to be, 1996 and 97. We'll have a rally towel giveaway, which sort of pays homage to that specialty old logo and the marks that they used. It's pretty cool stuff. And then it's Armed Forces Weekend at the Curve. long sleeve T-shirt giveaway on Friday night. Saturday, we've got a special military jersey, and then Sunday night, post-game fireworks, another 6:00 game. So it's really an unofficial start to summer, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. And fun stuff happening in Altoona next week. The Curve and the Senators. And we're just about at the end of the segment with Jon Mozes this morning. Now, I've got tickets for Tuesday's game, Wednesday's game, which is an 11 a.m. first pitch, and Thursday's game, all of them against the Sens. And I'll just open up the lines as soon as we're done with Jon here in just a second, and folks can call in. All right, Jon, Wilbur Dotel, really quickly. Hunter Barco goes, Dotel staying around, that's still must-see pitching, isn't it?
Sure is. I would say that he's probably our best arm on the team other than Hunter Barco to begin the year. Big fastball. He's working with that sinker at 98, 99 miles an hour sometimes. His thing is he's got to throw it over. In his last start, he struck out 10 guys against Chesapeake, and he really started to find something with his split finger and his cutter. And, that three-pitch combination with the plus velocity, he's a guy that can put it all together and have a season that's a little like what Luis Ortiz did for the Curve a couple of years ago, where he's sort of under the radar or overshadowed by other guys on the roster. And then once you watch him work a couple of times, you say, hey, that guy's pretty good.
Yeah. Hey, Jon, we got to go. Thanks so much.
Thanks so much. Have a good one.
479-1160, 349-WCCS, and call right now if you want to go to the Curve Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday next week.